Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Putty and welcome back for another edition of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. It is the best damn territorial wrestling in the business today. If you want to see the greatest technical, brawling, high-flying, whatever wrestling you're into, come here to Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, the king of the territories, and we will give you what you're after. I was wrong last episode when I said that this was going to be Americana, but I'm so glad I'm wrong, because it is the March show. It is 2022, and it is the 17th annual edition of Super Showdown. Here at Charlotte City Hall, we have a stacked card for you this evening, which, if you watch the Brand Split series, you know means we've got one match. And indeed, in our main event of the evening, George Wolfe, the Big Bad Wolf, the leader, the mentor, the idealist of Team Progress, leads himself into battle, leads the charge at the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champion, Ernest Youngman, with the title on the line. And for some reason, my game looks a little off-center on the picture there, which is really weird. So I'm going to show you my saves. Yeah, it was off-center. Weird. Weird. There you go. Back in center. Yes, that's our main event of the evening. The Assassin in the Squared Circle versus the Big Bad Wolf with the Mid-Atlantic Championship on the line. For those of you who missed the last episode, that is because, of course, George Wolfe had a stormer of a year. Great year. 22 victories across the world. Absolute journeyman professional wrestler. A stormer of a year for George Wolfe, and he has been granted a championship match because he is one of the best in the biz. And tonight, he gets the opportunity to prove it. For Ernest Youngman, it is a test. For Ernest Youngman, it is a challenge that he has not seen before. Ernest Youngman has come through the greatest brawlers this company has to offer. He's come through one of the greatest technicians the territories has to offer. But tonight, he has to face somebody who's not just a great brawler, who's not just a great technician. He's great at both of them. And the work and effort that he puts into his craft is some of the greatest around. He is confident, he is strong, he is fast, and he is chasing. He's hunting blood. He has not had a lot of Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Championship shots. Despite being one of the strongest members of the roster for the last 5 years, he has been denied on occasion after occasion a shot at that local championship. A championship he's gone on record of saying a couple times that he wants to win, but he was denied so many opportunities, George Wolfe. He won the Heavyweight Championship of the world, and tonight, it's his first shot since losing it at the Regional Championship. It's a big night for George Wolfe. It's a big night for our champion. It's a big night for everyone else as well, because tonight in our semi-main event of the evening, the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Championships are on the line. And it's a big one as the team of Acid and Stuntman defend their titles against the World Tag Team Champions, Tigre Salvaje Jr. and El Jaguar, the Wildcats. A huge semi-main event tonight. More to come, more to watch. Big show, Charlotte City Hall. Let's get started. We open up the show with Mean Machine and Diaz, a team we saw to great effect at the Ripcord Invitational, showing off their new partnership, defeating the Ring Generals. This is a match where the Ring Generals, they are an excellently oiled machine, and tonight it's no different. As Dean and Marv, they isolate the Mean Machine, despite the Mean Machine's huge, brawly, vicious status. They're able to isolate him. They're able to work down the Mean Machine. They're able to use that isolation, that tag team expertise. You know, the Ring Generals, former World Tag Team Champions, former 2-time Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, former 5-time New York City Tag Team Champions, one of, if not the, most decorated tag team in the world. Oh, maybe Team Toronto rival them. That's about it. The Ring Generals, top of the line, cream of the crop. And they are able to use that expertise to isolate and wear down the Mean Machine. But what they don't understand is that they're not up against two fledgling tag team partners who, with stars in their eyes, have just come out of the Mid-Atlantic boot camp, who don't really know their left from their right. They're up against two monsters. And they might not be the best tag team in the world. They might not be the best technicians in the world. But the Mean Machine certainly can get a tag if he wants to. And that's exactly what happens. And in comes the return of the monster. In comes James Diaz with that Gaijin strong style. Hitting them with the big forearms, the big chops, nasty vertical suplex drops on their heads. Brutalizing the Ring Generals, picking them apart, and in the end choosing to end the match with his Asian thumb spike. And James Diaz and the Mean Machine showing their dominance, their aggression, their viciousness, and beating one of the best tag teams in the business. We move on to a one-night-only appearance from Copperhead as he gets defeated by the architect of your destruction, Dewey Archer, by submission with his stolen proton lock. Copperhead tries to come in with his basic technical wrestling, but you don't play Dewey Archer's game lightly, and indeed Dewey Archer, with a wink and a smile, charismatically locks in every single technical maneuver that you can think of, and just absolutely working over Copperhead before finishing him off with his stolen proton lock. Well, I don't know about stolen. He was tutored by, maybe I should stop saying that, maybe that's bias, maybe that's fake news, because he was taught that move, and many others, by Sam Keith. He is a protege of Sam Keith. There's no doubt about that. But we haven't heard in the 5 years since the makeover of Dewey Archer, we haven't heard Sam Keith's opinion. Maybe we should stop assuming things. Maybe Sam Keith is absolutely proud of his student. And indeed, Dewey Archer with an impressive performance tonight, picking up the victory over the Red Avenger, Copperhead. After the match, Dewey Archer gets the mic. Seems frustrated, actually. He's on a winning streak. He's won twice in a row here in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, at least. We're not counting his 2021 record, but this year so far, he's 2-0. He gets on the mic, and he sits in the middle of the ring. He pulls the mic to his face, and he says, "My name is Dewey Archer, but you already knew that, because I'm the reason you're all here. I'm the reason why you're sitting in those seats, right? I'm the reason why you bought the ticket. I'm the A-lister. I'm the most must-see worker in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling history. I sell the most tickets, the most merchandise. I have the most search engine optimization. I have the most hits, the most interaction on social media, because I am the local celebrity. I'm the architect of your destruction. You know, I am one of the greatest technical wrestlers this business has to offer, and I'm the last living legacy of Sam Keith." But you know what? There's something that's been bothering me for the last few years, and certainly over the last year, and it's Ernest Youngman. Because he comes around here parading like he owns the place, like he's the man. He calls himself the ace that runs the place, right? That kind of nonsense. But you know, I made a change. I've had a long history with Ernest Youngman, and I respect the man a lot, a whole ton. So much so that when he beat me, and he beat me well, and told me that I needed to make a change, I made that change. You know what? It was the greatest decision of my life, because I changed from being one of the most must-see superstars in the history of professional wrestling to also being the greatest technical wrestler in the territories today. And I beat Ernest Youngman on the grandest stage of them all, where it all begins again. And now here we are, 4-5 years after that, and I'm sitting here, Sam Keith Classic winner, great professional wrestler, no Mid-Atlantic Championship, no World's Heavyweight Championship, nothing like that, no. Yeah, he's there, 3-time World Heavyweight Champion, 1-time Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Champion, and 5-10 times the title shots that I've had. It really frustrates me, because I should be the champ. I should be the number one contender. Hell, I am the number one contender. If you look at the records, you look at the merch sales, I'm the number one guy on the brand. I'm the number one contender. And you know what? I'm gonna bide my time. I'm gonna take my time. And when it suits me, I'm gonna take that title. The one thing that Ernest Youngman loves most, because if there's one thing I know about Ernest Youngman, is that he doesn't react well to losing. See, because when he lost the world title for the first time, you guys might not remember this, the man was a wreck. A depression, a horrid pile of human refuse, and it would give me nothing would give me more pleasure than to reduce my long-term rival into that again, and finally show the world that I am the greatest wrestler in the industry today, and get the respect that I deserve. So I'm going to keep on doing my job, because that's what I do. Dewey Archer, I haven't heard him talk in a while. Clearly a lot of pent-up rage there, a lot of pent-up aggression there. See the scene as it develops. As Shane Nelson makes another return, big star over in Chicago, but unfortunately that big Chicago star ends up running straight into the monster, the wall, the brick wall that is Scythe, as he crushes him in a very, very short match with an underworld spike. Big performance here from Scythe and Shane Nelson. Shane Nelson, the Chicago star, hopefully heads back to Chicago soon, not had a good run here in the Mid-Atlantic territory. And we have Earl Martin again. We saw him debut at the Ripcord Invitational tonight. This is his second match, his first non-tournament match. Yeah, and tonight he unfortunately falls short again, but puts in an absolutely great performance against Kamikaze, taking it to the high flyer. But Kamikaze just has that extra winning mentality, that cutting edge, willing to put his body on the line, that devil-may-care attitude, and in the end, picking up a victory. Kamikaze, pair of victories now in 2022, perhaps well on his way to putting together a great sequence of results. We move on to an all-star tag team match as Davis Wayne Newton and Fro Shore. Little known fact that may have not been mentioned before. Those two great friends, huge friends, big friends, the best friends. Believe me, the best friends. And, you know, we, on the DVD, maybe on the YouTube channel, you know, whatever the kids are doing these days. I bet there aren't DVDs. I wonder, do you guys think the DVD medium will be dead by 2022? I mean, PWG will still be selling DVDs. That's for damn sure. Shimmer will. But will any actual promotions that care about distribution be selling DVDs by 2022? I imagine not. That's like, what is that, 5 years from now? That's a crazy amount of time. I bet DVDs are like practically dead by then. In some description. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. Anyway, a featurette of this show shows that Fro Shore and Davis Wayne Newton, you know, talking backstage, hyping up that their past friendship. They spent a lot of time on the road together. You know, Fro Shore spent a lot of time in California over the last like 5 years or so. Spent a few dates up there in 4C, working with Hugh Ankry, of course, with their short-lived tag team, the King of California and the King of Canada. They spent a lot of time up there, and Davis Wayne was, of course, Fro's, not of course, but, you know, spent a lot of time carpooling with Fro, and they get in the ring. They show their chemistry, they show their tag team prowess almost as friends, long-term friends, by lots of friendship here. You know, it's like Taya Gardner, you know, power of friendship compels you. As they take on two representatives of Team Progress, Robin DeLay and Logan Wolfsbane. Of course, for sure on his campaign to destroy Team Progress, to take them apart. Now, I don't know about that, but he definitely to inflict revenge on Team Progress. And of course, Logan Wolfsbane at the center of that. Logan Wolfsbane, the man who broke Fro Shore's leg, I think it was. Oh, it's been a while now, but broke Fro Shore's leg, in that Boston Crab of his, really applying the pressure. And that's a learning experience for Logan, but Fro hasn't forgot it, because it took him 4 months to recover. That's 4 months of missed paychecks for a man who only wrestles, really. You know, he's a nice guy, he likes the wrestling sometimes, but really his main reason for wrestling is to provide for his family. And he missed 4 months of paychecks, and that put hard times on Fro Shore and his family. And ever since then, Fro has swore revenge on Team Progress, and he also hates them. He thinks they worship a false idol in George Wolfe. He thinks that George Wolfe is an absolutely horrible role model to follow, and indeed he continues to prove that. As tonight he goes after both Robin DeLay and Logan Wolfsbane. Logan Wolfsbane, a man he wants in a one-on-one competition. And it is announced after this match that next month, in the main event of the evening, Logan Wolfsbane and Fro Shore will go one-on-one in a huge match at Americana. I believe it's Americana. It might be old school rules. I think it's Americana, though. And, of course, that is because Fro Shore during this match, even though Robin DeLay and Logan Wolfsbane with their big powerhouse attitudes try to beat down Davis Wayne Newton and Fro Shore, much faster paced guys. Davis Wayne Newton with the high flying, high risk attitude, while Fro Shore with a charismatic California style brawling goes at Robin DeLay. Logan Wolfsbane sets them off, exploits some weaknesses, making sure that they're never in too much of a comfortable position as to establish the dominance that they so crave. And in the end, Fro Shore is able to pick up his long-term rival Logan Wolfsbane and smash his head into his knee with a sure thing and pick up the victory. But during the match, we had a really interesting part about 5 minutes in, where Davis Wayne Newton was getting isolated really, really badly in the corner. Couldn't get that hot tag to Fro Shore, and pushed Robin DeLay away into the referee. Referee heads down to the floor, and Davis Wayne Newton rolls out of the ring. There's a lot of breakage in the pace of the match. You know, everyone jumps off the apron. They all coagulate, or is the coagulate the right word there? I think it is. It's a fun word anyway. Let's just use it again. Coagulate around a ring post, and Davis Wayne Newton rustles under the ring and pulls out just a steel chair, and he's about to hit Robin DeLay with it, but Fro just pulls it out of Davis Wayne Newton's hands, and they get into a bit of an argument where Fro's like, "Come on, dude, I know you're better than this. Stop resorting to this bullshit." And that's enough distraction for Davis Wayne to just get clocked into the ring post. Nasty. Probable concussion. But Davis Wayne shrugs it off because, fuck concussions, am I right? Rolls back in the ring, gets the hot tag, and for sure is able to pick up the victory. But Davis Wayne Newton, we've seen the side of him in the Ripcord Invitational, continuously getting desperate this year for success and glory. And after the match, Davis Wayne Newton doesn't seem best pleased at Froshore for picking up the victory, and also for stopping him cheating. Davis Wayne Newton thinks maybe there's a bit of jealousy maybe that Froshore was able to get the job done, and it's a very, very powerful tag team in Robin DeLay and Logan Wolfsbane. And we move on to our semi-main event of the evening as the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions Devil May Care defeat the World Tag Team Champions when Acid 2 defeats Tigre Salvaje with a jump the shark. This match was probably indie-rific. Absolutely indie-rific. The Wildcat bringing that more Western style cruiserweight action, a mixture of high-risk maneuvers with a little bit of grappling, while Devil May Care with their Valhalla style as it has come to be known. They don't care how many injuries they take so long as it is in the name of glory, so long as it is in the name of championships. They're closing in now on 2 years as the Mid-Atlantic Regional Tag Team Champions. They'll earn that honor in October, and indeed their style has been a big reason for their success. They'll take concussions, they'll take broken bones, all in the name of glory, victory, and championships, and that is what they did tonight, throwing their bodies, using their bodies as weapons, not caring what injuries they sustain, so long as they can inflict damage to their opponents. High risk, high octane, the Brian Alvarez style adrenaline rush match, as Devil May Care end up picking up the victory with their trademark jump the shark in this very Lucha Libre inspired match. And it is now time, ladies and gentlemen, for our main event of the evening as we head to the interview area, and there stands George Wolfe, and he says, last year was a bad year for me professionally. Last year I lost the World Heavyweight Championship, and I had a pretty quiet year aside from that. But if that's a quiet year, I think I've done a pretty damn good job, because you take a look at those rankings. And I sit right at the top of the Mid-Atlantic food chain where I belong, because I've said it before, and I don't care what Froshore wants to say about me. I don't care what Ernest Youngman wants to say about me. I am the measuring stick of the territories. I'm the best. And we've talked about it before, but team progress is what perfection looks like. We were born champions, and we worked every day of our lives. First in the gym, last to leave, and we look like it because we look better than anybody else. And we know, deep in our hearts, that stars are in the sky and stars are in Hollywood. What we do is wrestling. And wrestling's on the billing tonight. Tonight in our main event of the evening, you've got a technical wrestler in Ernest Youngman, but that's all he's good for. That's all he can do. He is an excellent technical wrestler. But when I hit him straight in the jaw, his mouth breaks like anybody else's. And tonight I'm going to prove that I'm still the measuring stick, that I'm still the guy. I've been here. I'm one of the longest standing members of this roster. I've seen so many people walk in and so many people go out that door. And Ernest Youngman, you're just like the rest of them. You're here, you're gonna run your mouth, you're gonna run your jaw for as long as you feel fit. You're gonna do your flashy bullshit, and then you're gonna walk out that door. Well, you're looking at the measuring stick, son. You're looking at the long-staying icon of Mid-Atlantic wrestling. You're looking at the guy. And tonight I'm going to take my championship in my territory, in the best damn territory, in the best damn country in this planet. And I'm going to go home with the championship because I deserve it. Because champions were born champions. And that's me, son. George Wolfe fired up. Can he put in a great effort tonight in our main event against Ernest Youngman and come away with the Mid-Atlantic Championship? Well, he certainly puts in a great effort as he goes at Ernest Youngman with his big strikes, his big brawling action. Ernest Youngman, of course, gets put off the scent immediately. George Wolfe, like he said, just smacks Ernest Youngman in the jaw. And like he said, doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter whether you're Bradford Peverell, Nicholas Lopez, Copperhead, or Ernest Youngman. Your jaw breaks like the rest of them, and Ernest Youngman is shook. Ernest Youngman's mouth must be in so much pain as he falls to the floor and he starts to recover. He rolls out the ring. He goes, whoa, okay, let's take a step back here, lads. Let's Let's have a think about this. And indeed, he has to take a moment to recover himself, but he gets back in the ring, and with a smile on his face and a wink to the crowd, he locks in every... sorry about banging the mic, that probably sounded awful. Locks in every technical wrestling maneuver under the sun, working limb to limb to limb, working hold to hold to hold, going toe-to-toe with George Wolfe. But you know, we've said this about George Wolfe. We've said this about Logan Wolfsbane. There are some men who can break out of holds that other technicians would have to escape out of, and that's like George Wolfe. You know, Ernest Youngman, sometimes he has that escapist style, that flashy European escapist style. You know, there are some holds that he likes to escape from. George Wolfe can break free of them. He can use his strength, his aggression, to break out of holds that Ernest Youngman would have to escape from, and that's exactly what he does. George Wolfe able to have that edge in the technical game, able to have that edge in it when Ernest Youngman tries to wear him down, tries to work him down. He can break out of Ernest Youngman's holds. He can stop the greatest technical wrestler in the territories today, and he can get his momentum going. He can hit those ropes like Cameron Jones, bull in the china shop, get that momentum flowing, big lariats, big shoulder blocks, suplexes, everything you can imagine George Wolfe doing, he does, because he is a technician in the finest sense of the word. And just like Marvelous Marv Stadler, when the pace is high, he can throw with the best of them. And when the pace is low, just like Deadly Dean Waldorf, he can grind with the best of them, and he mixes that in with his momentum brawling style. He's a big lad, and he's hard to keep down. He puts in one hell of a tour de force tonight. But he's in there with the best. He's in there with the wrestling machine, and Ernest Youngman, he's got heart, he's got passion, and it doesn't matter if George Wolfe is beating him down. It doesn't matter if George Wolfe is brawling him down. Ernest Youngman will not stay down, and he fights back. And no matter how many holds George Wolfe breaks out of, Ernest is going to slap on another one, because he's the wrestling machine. He's the best there's ever been. He's the assassin of the squared circle, and he said it times before that giants may fall and diamonds may fade, but Ernest Youngman is forever, and tonight he proves it again. Again, as he locks in every hold he can think of. He wears down the beast, the big bad wolf. He wears him down, and in the end, he's able to lock in the deadliest hold in the territories tonight. Today. Ever. Arguably. The crossface chicken wing. He's able to lock it in, and you know, when that's locked in, middle of the ring, there's not much you can do, and George will put on one hell of a performance tonight. But once you're center of the ring, with that locked in, there's nothing you can do. And he's forced, you know, he's not going to tap out. He's got too much heart, too much pride, and too much respect for that. But, you know, with all the struggle and all the passion, there's nowhere to go. And he accepts that it's over. Passes out. Match 1. And Ernest Youngman is still your Mid-Atlantic Regional Champion. Fantastic victory to consolidate his power here in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, continuing to prove that he's one of the best there has ever been. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. Check out the rest of the series. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're feeling especially generous, go ahead and check out the link to my Patreon in the description. If you want to hear me ramble, there's a link to my Twitter in the description. And in the next episode, the main event of the evening will, of course, be Frosure finally getting his hands on Logan Wolfsbane, and it is going to be a Texas death match. We are still, I don't think it's old school rules next month, but we're still going to have our Texas death match, because I think that match deserves it. So please join me next time. Actually, no, it's not going to be a Texas death match. It's going to be a normal match. Bog standard match, but it's going to be fiery, it's going to be brutal. They're going to wish it was a Texas death match, because there's going to be fire in their hearts. Can Frosure get revenge for the hard times Logan Wolfsbane put on him and his family after breaking his leg in the winter of 2020? Find out next time. And of course, it is going to be a big match in terms of the rankings of the territories, because both men are incredibly high up. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.